This is going to be kind of a halfway review. Basically what it's going to turn out to be is probably a rebuilding tutorial. I was talking to Kevin over at Vapors Tech, and Kevin was telling me about the T3S, and I had basically told him that, you know, I didn't really like any of those Kanger bottom coil tanks because they have the inherent issue where they leak out the bottom, or they just don't seem to be performing very well. You know, they don't seem to perform as well as all the hype that I hear.
Three, two, one.
Part of that could just be that, you know, with me getting so many different things to review, it's just that I review them and they pretty much just sit after that. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is a T3S that I actually took the liquid out of because it just didn't seem to perform very well. Okay, and it has been probably about 5 days. Now there's still going to be a little bit of liquid in there, I understand that, but this is what happened. Okay, there it is sitting there, the green thing, and it's really nice looking. I really like what they did as far as the visuals go. So, when you pick this up, you can see right there, there's a nice little puddle. Okay, now I don't think that I really need to tell you guys this, but if you've never had a Kanger MT anything bottom coil, even the EVODs did it, then you probably don't know. That's what they do. Okay, that's what they do, because the hole where the wicks are on the bottom and gravity takes over. Okay, so that is the inherent issue, and I'm going to probably just disavow all bottom coil devices from now on. I mean, it is where you vape them all the time, or you have problems like that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I've got a head right here from the T3S, or MT3, excuse me, and I'm going to do a tutorial how to rebuild the head yourself. Okay, it's going to take a micro coil and some cotton wick, but we're going to get into it. Okay, so I've got a screwdriver here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pry the positive pin out of the bottom. Now the trick to this is getting the pin back in there. Okay, and it really stinks that this is not magnetized. This is tap metal or something right here, the pin, because, well, actually, you know what, it does work with the magnet. Okay, so that's going to take care of that part. Whenever you go to put this thing back in, just hook it up to the magnet and push it back in there. So that's pretty cool. It's just a little standard micro screwdriver, and I probably just showed you that outside of the view. Okay, this in particular is a Matco Tools miniature screwdriver. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the grommet out of here. Okay, but be real careful with these grommets because they do rip. Okay, and it's just like a lot of things that we rebuild. There's the ProTanks, things like that. I don't think you can actually get this out of there by turning it. I think it's a full fixture in the head, and yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna probably go ahead and do a 6 wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't get super anal with my coils, and that may be why I actually failed the first time. But you know, it's all a learning experience. We're hopefully learning this together. Hopefully you're not making fun of me. Alright, so there's that. Got that part done. If you have seen this 100 times, then you can go ahead and feel free to fast forward. I've got this clamped down. Got this sitting on the stand. All I gotta do is click it on. It should be going. Okay, a little closer to the edge. Sorry if I'm not getting this part on camera. I'll go ahead and lift it up once I get this darn torch started, where it will stay started. Okay, so here's the torch. I'm gonna just count to 10 like everybody else does. If I can get this thing glowing evenly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it was glowing, I just wasn't able to see it. Okay, so kind of put this out of the way, but be careful, it will be hot. So will the tweezers. I've got to get the grommet, and I've got to get this thing to fit inside that hole without ripping it. I use the cap for the top of the head, the stem, because it has a hole that goes right through there. But the problem is now is that I've got to get that springy wire to play ball, and that looks pretty difficult. Looks like it went. Okay, obviously it's added a little bit of slack on the coil up top, but you know, all you got to do is grab some tweezers, reach in there and pull the wire straight through. Even with the grommet in there, it's not enough pressure that it will positively hold it to where you can't tighten the wire up, okay? But you got to do something to get that plug in there. Okay, now it's really hard to see down in there to make sure that the grommet is positively pushed all the way down. So I just gotta hope, you know, keep playing with it until it just, there is no doubt that it's in there properly. So now I'm going to take my magnet screwdriver, going to grab a hold of the positive pin, and there's my positive wire. It's really short, unfortunately, but it will work. I'm going to drive this center pin down there, hopefully. This magnet's really not, it's having a hard time grabbing this pin. This pin's not going to be a very conductive pin, and that's probably going to be one of the reasons why I don't like any of the Kanger bottom fed stuff, because the pins just, I mean, in a world where we have some stuff with brass connections, silver plated connections, I mean, stuff like this is just going to be subpar, and that's just all there is to it. Okay, so now I got it where it's not pushing the damn thing around. Alright, so it's in place now. Tighten her up. She's nice and tight, just the way we like it. Now I'm going to pull the needle out, and then I'm going to use it to force the coil over toward the center, and I've done that. However, it's not lined up perfectly anymore, so put the needle back through. Two reasons why you want this needle in there when you go to try to break off the wire at the bottom, so that your coils, the length is still staying the same. It's in the same spot. Okay, so this is what I'm doing now. I am just wiggling this around, and it is hard to do because there's such a pit in there, or whatever you want to call it. There's such a recess. It's good, folks. I'm kind of pumped up because this is not the easiest thing to do. And I have the eureka moment. I grab a piece of cotton, Feed the cotton in there. This is beautiful. It's pulling the coil over a little bit, but that's okay. I actually tend to like my cotton a little bit tight in the coil, even though some people will say not to do it like that. But you can also get spots in your cotton that do not puff out enough, and then you can get a bunch of spitting and hot bubbles of juice flying around in there, and that's how you get a lot of that stuff up in your drip tip and up in your mouth, and I definitely don't like that. Okay, I guess I'm a little stuck up that way, but I don't like eating my juice. I like to vape my juice, so that's the reason why I like to make sure it's nice and snug there. Oh my god, look what just happened to my EVOD. Never fucking seen anything so fucked up as that. This is another reason right here. This shit is subpar as a motherfucker. I just went to lift it up and that came right out. Broke. Used it like 5 tanks. So this is pretty much just a total fail video for Kanger. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I mean, it's like I just now fucking grabbed that right there on camera. I know obviously you couldn't see me grab it, but that's what just happened. Huh. It's, well, okay, beyond me. Alright, just bear with me while I try to find the one PV that has an ohm checker on it. I got 1.4 ohms of resistance. I believe we have a fucking winner here, folks. I believe we have a winner. One good thing you can do to get this primed is you can just blow air through the mouthpiece and watch for bubbles. Once bubbles stop happening, or you start to hear a little bit of gurgle, then you stop, you know you got enough juice there. Okay, I'm not even going to try to show you that on camera. I mean, everybody knows what bubbles rising look like anyway. Alright, so let's give this baby a shot. 3.3 volts. Taste a little bit of the wire, and that's normal for breaking it in. But as you can see, it's creating a lot of vapor. And I'll be honest with you, this thing is creating more vapor than any MT anything that I've ever had from Kanger. Any bottom coil. But it's going pretty darn good. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is stop the video. I'm going to vape this for a little while, see how it turns out. I'm just going to vape it through break-in. And once it passes break-in, if it's vaping as well as it is now, then I'm going to say this is a win-win for any of those bottom coil things. As long as they have lasted and they didn't do like that EVOD did, then you should be fine to be able to attempt this build, and I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you will be successful, and hopefully I will be successful. We'll be right back at you.